Alright, welcome. Mike Simmons of WPHowTos.com here. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out this video. In this video, I'll be showing you not only how to make a website with WordPress start to finish from scratch, but I'll also be showing you how to properly set up your WordPress site and to structure your site content in a way that will help optimize your site's online presence. This is ideal for, well, pretty much any website, but it's especially true for a local business website or a niche website. I'm going to thoroughly explain the process step by step so that you can follow along with me no matter if you're a beginner and new to WordPress or if you're more WordPress savvy. Let's go take a look at a mind map that outlines what I'm going to cover in this video. Alright, here is the mind map, which gives an overview of what I'll cover in the video. Of course, the first thing you're going to need if you want a website is to get a domain name and a place to store your website files or your hosting company. And we'll cover getting a domain name and the place that I use and web hosting. I'll show you how to get a nice discount at HostGator, which is the company that I use and recommend. Then we'll go over how to connect your domain name to your web hosting account if you buy your domain name separate from your web hosting. And then we'll install WordPress, which is a very easy process. We'll go over the basic setup of our website, including installing and activating a child theme, which is not really as daunting as it sounds if you've never done it. We'll make our foundation pages. We'll go over the basic settings that we'll need to take care of before we get started. Here's some basic plugins which we'll cover, including the all-in-one SEO plugin, which has a ton of features, but we'll cover some of the features in this video. And as I mentioned, I'm going to show you not only how to make your website very thoroughly start to finish, but we'll also go over keyword research and how to properly structure your site content. In fact, I have a mind map which goes over that in a little bit more detail, which I will show you in the video. And we're going to make a header using a free online image editor at pixlr.com. We'll go over some more plugins that we're going to use, install, and activate on our site. And we'll go cover WordPress themes, how to add a new one, and how to customize our themes. We'll cover widgets, which are what shows up in the sidebars of your website. And we'll go over images, uploading images, where to find royalty-free images. In fact, here's several different sites which will be on this mind map, which will be available on my website. And then we're going to get into the fun part. We're going to start customizing our website, which will start with the home page. We're going to use the 2014 theme, but pretty much everything I'm going to cover will apply to almost any theme. I'll show you two different ways to have your home page display, one with a header and one without a header and image slider. And we'll go over custom menus, background of our site. We'll make a gallery page. We'll go over setting up and organizing your blog page on your website. This mind map is turning into a very good resource for you to have. It will be available for download on my site. It started out as just an overview of the video, but now it's turning into an ever-expanding resources guide. For instance, right here, if I click on the resources button here, the little tab to open it up, I've just started categorizing a bunch of resources that I'm going to add. It's going to have a ton of information on here. Here's my YouTube videos. You can click on this little link right here and it'll take you right to my YouTube channel. I'll have some of my YouTube videos on here. If you want to know how to customize your WordPress theme with Firebug, you could click on this link right here and it'll take you right to the video. That's the cool thing about this particular type of mind map, is you can put clickable links in there. So if you would like this mind map for yourself, then all you'll need to do is just click on the link that will be in the video description below the video. That will take you to this page on my website, wphowtos.com. And once you get to this page, all you'll need to do is just click on this link right here. And that will take you to the MindJet Mind Manager Download Center, which is what I use for my mind maps, MindJet Mind Manager. Now, that's about $400 new, but they have a free MindJet Mind Manager viewer, which you can view any of their mind maps made with their software. So just scroll down towards the bottom of the page, and here's the Windows version, English. and you can just click on that download button. If you do have a Mac, you can click on this little button right here. It's a real small download, and it's easily opened and installed on your computer. Once you've got that installed and opened, just come back to this page again on my website and click on this image of the mind map to get the current version of the mind map in a zip file, which you'll need to unzip, and then you can view it on the MindJet Mind Manager viewer. So a really good resource to have, guys. There are two things that you need to have a website online: a domain name, which is your URL or web address, and some web hosting, which was where you store your website files. Now here's a really cool site called instantdomainsearch.com, and it does just what it says. It's an easy way to find out if your domain name is available. You just type it right in here. Mike.com is not available. I'll just add a little bit more. mikeswp.com is available. And you can just click on this little button right here and it'll take you to whatever domain registrar you have selected down here. Now, for instance, GoDaddy is always probably the cheapest the first year, but after that they usually make it up in renewal fees. I use Namecheap, so I'm just going to click on this little button right here. That will take you to Namecheap, and once you get here, you can just add your domain name to your shopping cart and go through the checkout process. And the reason I like Namecheap is they have something called free WhoisGuard protection, which keeps your domain registration information private. So I use Namecheap. Now you can get your domain at your web hosting company if you prefer also. So let's go get our web hosting. HostGator is where I get most of my hosting, and I've been using them for close to 8 years, so I do highly recommend them. Now they have great customer support. You know, all their stuff is very customer oriented, pretty easy to use and navigate through. They do have 24/7, 365 support. I usually just call their toll-free number rather than the live chat. I'll go ahead and click on this button here and look at their hosting plans. If you do want the cheapest route, you can get the Hatchling plan. That only allows one domain on your account though, but that's the cheapest if you want to go that way. The baby plan's what most people get. You get unlimited domains on there, which is probably not true, but you can get quite a few domains on your account. Business plan has a few different options. You can check that out if you'd like. I'll just click on the Order Now button. Once you get to this screen, you'll just enter in a domain if you want to buy your domain at HostGator, which I believe is $12.95 a year. I'll just click this button right here and type in the domain we already found was available, mikeswp.com. And of course it is available. You'll just put in your package type right here and your billing cycle, and the longer the term, of course, the bigger the savings you get. I'll go ahead and select 12 months. You're not ever locked into a long-term contract either, because you can always get a prorated refund if you get a longer term of hosting. You'll get your biggest discount that way if you say you get 3 years of hosting. And you have to put in a username and security pin, and then put in all your billing information, including a good email, because they will send you an email with all your pertinent account information on there. You can also use PayPal if you'd like. Down here, if you do buy your domain at HostGator, you can get domain privacy, which is the same as WhoisGuard protection. I'm going to uncheck these boxes. CodeGuard might not be a bad thing to consider as far as keeping your website backed up. You can check into that. Their default coupon code, SNAPPY, gives you 20% off your first invoice. They've been kind enough to offer me a 30% coupon code, HostGator, which I appreciate very much, and I can offer that to you. I'll go ahead and validate that. And that will give you 30% off your first invoice. Now, if you do want to pay monthly, you can. And if you do want to go that route, I have another coupon code which you can use if you'd like, MikeSave10, which will give you your first month of hosting for 1 penny. You do have to pay full price after that, but if you'd like to pay monthly, that's a good option. Now, if you guys do use one of my coupon codes, I will receive a small commission, but if you do find value from my videos, I certainly would appreciate if you use one of my coupon codes if you are planning on buying hosting. So if you do use one of my codes, I thank you in advance. Thanks a lot. All right, once you've got your hosting package picked out, you'll just have to click this button and then click Create an Account. I'm not going to do so. I've already got a HostGator account, but they'll send you an email almost immediately, which will have all your account information on here. Once I get this email, what I like to do first off is just highlight all this information right here and then right click and copy, and then paste that into a text file to keep handy also and backed up in another place. If you did buy your domain name at HostGator, then You won't have to do anything further to get your domain name connected to your hosting account. If you did buy it at Namecheap, you'll have to connect what are called the name servers to your domain name. I'm just going to highlight the information right here, which you'll need to connect your domain to your web hosting account, and then right click and copy. And then we'll go back to Namecheap, and you'll have to log into your account. And once you're logged into your account, you'll be taken to your account page. And then you'll just hover over your account name up at the top left corner there and click on Manage Domains. And you may just have one domain in there, so all you'll do is just put a check mark in the box right there and then click on Edit Selected down at the bottom there. And once we've got that opened up, over on the left there'll be Domain Name Server Setup, and you'll just click on that. Then you'll just make sure that this little button right here is selected, specify custom DNS servers, and then you'll just paste in your first name server, and then what I do is just paste it in again and then just change the last number. They're always in sequence, so these two were 2995 and 2996. So after you've got your two name servers pasted into the boxes right there, make sure to change that second number. Then you'll just click on Save Changes. So if you did have to connect your name servers to your domain registrar, then you'll usually have to wait a couple hours or so before you can start working on your website. You have to allow time for the domain name servers to propagate to your account. If you bought your domain at HostGator, then it'll be pretty much immediately available. So once you've waited your proper amount of time, you'll just click on your control panel link right here. That will open up your control panel login box. And then you'll just come back here and copy and paste your username and your password and paste them into your Cpanel login, and then click Login. That's going to take you to your hosting account control panel. Now there's a lot of stuff on here, but we're just going to focus on the job at hand, and we're going to scroll down towards the bottom and look for software services. Once you're at software services, just look for the quick install icon and click on that. And once we're there, look for blog software, and then under blog software, click on WordPress. And this is telling you what version of WordPress is being installed. It's usually pretty up to date. It looks like it might be one version behind. There's the install size, and it comes from WordPress.org, of course. We'll click Continue. Here's where you choose where you're going to install WordPress. And you generally want to leave this blank unless you're installing WordPress in a subdirectory. And you might just have one choice here. I have quite a few, but I'm going to install WordPress for demonstration purposes in a subdomain that I've made. And I am going to keep Enable Auto Upgrades checked. That is, will auto upgrade WordPress for you without you having to do anything. Make sure you do put in a good email for your admin email and a blog title. We'll go ahead and just put 2014. Admin user, just make sure you don't use admin. First and last name, that's your author name, which you can always change later. I'm going to put my name in here. And then I'll just click on Install Now. Alright, so that didn't take very long at all. Real easy to do. And here's all your login information, and they'll send that to your email address you provided also. Here's your username and password. The password you can change if you'd like once you get into your admin area. I usually do. And this is the admin login link. A lot of times you can't access it for a few minutes. I'll go ahead and click and see what happens. It says 404 page not found. So I'll go ahead and pause the video until this becomes available. It usually doesn't take more than, say, 10 minutes or so. Alright, that took about 3 minutes, and the login area is available, so all I did was click on this link right here. I'm just going to highlight the password. There we go, and we'll go back here. Now you can also get to this page by just typing in your domain name and then a /wp-admin. Paste in the password, and I'll paste in that username I made up, and I'll just click Login. That's going to take us to our WordPress dashboard. Now before we get started, let's hover our mouse over on the left over the Users tab and then click on Your Profile. We'll make a few quick changes here. Now this is the admin color scheme, and you get a few choices nowadays with WordPress. I'm not too crazy about the dark color. Of course, this is just a personal preference, so I'm just going to choose blue for the admin color scheme. Show toolbar when viewing site. I always usually keep that checked. That's this black toolbar. Your first and last name, that's your author name. I'm just going to keep it as Mike Simmons. Your nickname, you can change that if you want. Display name publicly, I'm going to display it as Mike Simmons and not my admin username. You can change your email if you'd like. Now this is what we're going to do also is change our password that was automatically generated when we installed WordPress with Quick Install. So what I use is something called LastPass, lastpass.com. It automatically saves all your login info and all sorts of stuff, and it also will generate secure passwords for you. I highly recommend it, lastpass.com. Really good stuff, guys. Okay, I'm going to generate a secure password. I'm going to make sure I copy this just so I have it. Copy it, and then I'm going to click accept, and it is a strong password, so we'll click update profile. Let's click right here first of all where it says next steps, and I'll right click and then open up and link in a new tab to open up our site. And here's what our site looks like right now. It's the default WordPress theme at the time of this video, the 2014 theme. And I'm actually liking this theme a lot, but not necessarily the way it looks right out of the box. What our theme is going to look like by the time we're done with this video, we've got a couple different versions here. Here's the version with the image slider and the sidebar over on the left, of course, and it has the menu over on the left also, and then the menu on top, and no header. Here's one without the left sidebar and a header image, so I'll show you how to do all that. So it's going to look quite a bit different than the default look. Let's go back to our dashboard, and then we'll click on change your theme completely. It's going to show what themes you have installed. I'm going to click on add new. And if you want to upload a theme, perhaps that you have purchased, a premium theme, you'll have to click on upload and then browse to the zip file, and then of course just upload it and then install. It has to be in a zip file to use the WordPress dashboard to install a theme. I just clicked on the featured tab, which shows a lot of pretty nice themes in the featured area, and these are all free themes. If you are going to use a free theme, I highly recommend that you only use themes that are on the WordPress.org theme repository, and of course any default WordPress theme will be there. You can do a search also besides the featured tab. Don't just do a search online for free WordPress themes, because a lot of those, in fact, the majority of those seem to have malware or malicious code installed in there. So don't do that. I'll go back to themes under appearance. Now you can also just click on this customize tab, which we will go over a little bit later and use that. It gives you some basic options that you can do to your site, and it will show you a live preview over on the right as you make the changes. So pretty handy feature. I'm going to click close. Alright, before we get started, we're going to add what's called a child theme, which allows us to make some tweaks to our theme without losing the changes when our theme updates. Now this is an optional step, but I recommend it because if you are planning on making any changes to your theme, or down the road perhaps you might want to, you'll want to have a child theme. So it's a real simple process, and I'm going to walk you through the steps. So first of all, just hover your mouse over Appearance and then click on Editor. So by default, this will open up what's called your style sheet, or your style.css file for whatever theme you have active. And the style sheet contains a bunch of CSS code which you do not have to know at all, which controls the look and layout of your site. So for instance, the site title right here, the CSS code that controls the size and font type of the site title is controlled by the style.css file. But like I said, we don't want to make changes to our main parent theme style.css file. So we are going to make a child theme. So the first thing that we will need to do is log into our Cpanel account. If you don't remember, that's your control panel, which is in your HostGator email. You could just click on the link in your email, or go to your domain name /Cpanel. And once you log into your Cpanel or control panel, then you'll just want to scroll down till you'll see Files, and then click on File Manager. And we do want to open up the web root. Now you probably won't see all this, but I'm going to open up the subdomain files. Now you'll just need to click on WP content and then double click on themes to open up that folder. Now over on the top left we'll click on new folder. And our theme name is the 2014 theme, so just type in it all with no spaces, then put a dash and then put child. Now if you are using, I'm just going to click create a new folder. Now if you are using a different theme than the 2014 theme, back in the style.css file and under appearance editor, right at the top where right down below here where it says text domain, this is your proper theme name that you're going to need to use. 2014, whatever it says here, that's your theme name. So back to our child theme, let's double click on that, and of course it's empty, so we're going to need to upload a style.css file to it. Now I'm going to make a longer video which will go into this process a little bit more detail, but this is the steps we're going to take. So I've opened up Notepad++, which is the text editor that I use, and I really like it. And we're going to need to add some code to this empty text file. So I'm going to make it very simple for you. Right on my site right here, there will be a link in the video description, but how to make a 2014 child theme. We're just going to copy all this code right here, right where it starts, the forward slash and the little asterisk, and then all the way down here to the bottom. You'll need all this information right in here. So once I've copied that, I'll go back and paste that into the text file, and then we're going to save this file as style.css. First of all, we'll make sure that save as type, you have to make sure you're saving it as a .css file, which is short for cascading style sheet. So we'll select that, and then I'm going to save it as style.css. I'm just going to replace another file I already had. Okay, now that we have that, we need to put it into our child theme folder on our cPanel. So we're going to click on upload up here in the top left, and I'll browse to the folder and double click on it to upload it. I'm going to go back here and just reload the child theme folder. Now we have our style.css. Now let's go back to our dashboard, and then under appearance click on themes, and now we have an option of a 2014 child theme. So I'm going to click on activate, and let's go back to our site that we have opened in a new tab. I'm going to click reload, and you're not going to see any changes at all because we haven't made any changes to our style.css file. I'll click on editor again to show you what I'm talking about. So this is the style sheet of the current active theme, which is now the 2014 child theme. And this is the style.css file. If you are using a different theme than the 2014 theme, then you'll want to put the proper theme name that I showed you. You'll have to put that right in the template name. And then under the theme name, you'll want to, whatever your theme name is, you'll just call it that and child theme. And then all this other stuff is really not that important right here. You can just put whatever you want in here under the description and author. Now you have to make sure that you have this line right here, import URL, and you'll have to have your theme name in here, right in here again, in order for it to import the CSS code from the parent theme's style.css file. That is how you make a child theme. Alright, now we're going to start building the foundation of our website. First thing we're going to do is add a couple quick pages. So let's hover our mouse over pages and then click on add new. First page I'm going to add is going to be titled Seattle Heating and AC. I'll go ahead and publish this. This is going to be our home page. We'll go ahead and click on add new again, and we'll add a page called blog. Okay, now we've got our couple pages set up that we're going to need in just a minute. Now let's hover our mouse over settings and click on general, and we're going to go through the basic settings of our site. First of all, our site title, we're going to go ahead and change that. I'm just going to paste in something I already have made up. I'm just going to leave the tagline blank. And down under WordPress URL and the site address URL, we're just going to add 3 W's and a dot for that. And you can go ahead and change your email address and all sorts of things in here, but we're just going to click on Save Changes. Okay, we'll go back to Settings, And we'll click on the Reading tab this time. Alright, under the writing settings, we're just going to scroll down at the bottom of the page. And what we're going to do is just add a few more pinging addresses. Pinging is just they send a ping if you make a new blog post, and it helps Google and all the search engines pick it up quicker. So to get my pinging list, you just go to my wphowtos.com homepage and scroll down, and then let's see updated ping list, and go ahead and click on that link. These are the ones I use, and this is all you really need, I believe. I'm going to go ahead and do it. We'll go ahead and click Save Changes. Alright, now next is the reading setting. Right now, the home page shows up as a blog page. We're going to change this to a static website, so this is what we need those pages that we made up for. Our home page is going to be the Seattle and AC, heating and AC, and we'll use our posts page, we'll use the blog page. And blog pages show up most 10 posts. That's you can adjust this if you'd like. Don't make it any more than 10. Syndication feeds, that's your RSS feed. 10 items is pretty good. 10 to 15. Full text is what I usually leave it on. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save Changes. And now under Settings, we'll click on the Discussion tab. Alright, under the discussion settings, we're just going to do a couple things here. First, we're going to uncheck this box where it says allow link notifications, pingbacks and trackbacks. Most of those, I'd say 99% of those are spam, so we'll just uncheck that box. And allow people to post comments on new articles. We'll leave that alone. We'll adjust the comment function in another way. So we're going to go ahead and click Save Changes for this. And now our next setting we're going to look at is under Settings, we'll check the permalinks. We're going to change our permalinks for this video. Right now it says day and name, sample post, and has the date in there. We're going to make a custom structure. So we're going to check that little box right here. And then I'm going to paste in this code right here, which is category and post name. Alright, now we're going to install what are called plugins. Plugins are just basically just code that you add on or plug into your WordPress site, and they add a function to your site that wasn't there before. But don't go too wild, because if you add tons and tons of plugins to your site, you'll slow your site down some. That being said, I do have quite a few plugins on my site. So let's start adding some plugins. So let's hover our mouse over plugins and click on Add New. And the first plugin we're going to install will allow the search engines like Google, etc. to find and index your site's content by organizing your content in what's called an XML sitemap. The plugin is called Google XML Sitemaps. We'll go ahead and install, and we'll go ahead and activate. And the Google XML Sitemaps plugin you can just leave as is. There's no need to change any of the settings. Just right out of the box, it's fine. And we'll just click on Add New again for plugins. And this plugin, it's called EWWW Image Optimizer, and it does just what the title suggests. It automatically optimizes images that you upload to your site. Now we'll talk more about images later, but this is a good plugin to have. I'm going to go ahead and activate it. And this one also, for most people, you don't have to bother with changing any of the settings. It's right out of the box. It's just fine. So let's click on Add New again. And we're going to add a plugin called the All-in-One SEO Pack, which is a really popular plugin. There's probably been 20 million downloads of this plugin. Now this is just a tool. This will not automatically rank your site at the top of Google, but it does help you. We are going to have to change some settings to get the maximum benefits out of this plugin. I went ahead and activated it. Now over on the left of your dashboard, you're going to have a little tab that says All-in-One SEO. We'll go ahead and click on that. That will take us to our general settings. And the first section at the top here, canonical URLs, just like it says, it helps prevent duplicate content penalties by Google and everybody else. So we're going to leave that checked, and we definitely want to not use the original title, so we're going to leave that disabled also. The home page settings. Now this is what is called your meta title and meta description for your home title and home description. And what a meta title and meta description are, I'll go over to this. I did a search for udogj.com, who I happen to know the owner of. Right here where it says wedding receptions, events, sound systems, what shows up at the top in its title, that's the meta title. And this right down below the URL is his meta description. So that's what kind of shows up in the search results, is your meta title and meta description. So I'm going to go ahead and paste something in there for our site. Now, our site is a fictitious heating and air conditioning business located in Seattle. Oftentimes people will just call the phone number listed in the description rather than going to the website if they're really in need of the service. That's why I like to list the phone number in the description prominently. Home keywords we're not going to touch. Those are what are called meta keywords, and they have absolutely no value anymore. So in that respect, down in keyword settings, we're just going to disable them. People used to do keyword stuffing and that sort of thing with the meta keywords, and Google does not pay any attention at all to them anymore. Rewrite titles under title settings. We definitely want the plugin to rewrite the titles for us. We're going to leave all the rest of the settings alone. Down under Webmaster Verification. Once you sign your website up for Google Webmaster Tools, Google will show you all kinds of information. It even helps you with the SEO of your site. So it's a good thing to do, and Bing also. If you do want to know a little bit more about Google Webmaster Tools or whatever category you'd like to know more, just click on the question mark and click on this link that they'll provide, and it'll take you to their website. And they have very extensive documentation in their websites. Okay, down below that, Google Settings. This is your Google Plus profile URL, and that helps you establish what's called Google Verified Authorship for your site. Now, what is that exactly? Well, if you've seen a search results where they have people's images across from their meta title and meta description, that's what you call verified authorship. And you'll need to have a Google Plus account for that. Here's one of my Google Plus accounts. If you sign up for Gmail, a Google account, they'll automatically make you sign up for Google Plus. And anymore, Google Plus for Google and just social in general is playing a bigger and bigger role on the relevance of what the search engines see your site as, if it's relevant for a category or a search term or not. I'm going to paste in my Google Plus URL, and I'll take off the about at the end. We'll just end with the / after all the numbers. And once you have this on your site, you'll also have to go to your Google Plus account. Under the About section, you'll have to be logged in, of course. You'll just scroll down under Links and Contributor To. You'll have to put in your website URL, and then you'll have to go through a verification process so Google will know that you're the owner of the website. Then your Google Plus and your website are connected together, and you can get that Google Plus authorship. Alright, so the next part of the Google settings, you can put in your Google Analytics ID if you have Google Analytics, and they'll take care of inserting the code in your website for you. No index settings, we're going to uncheck the use no index for categories. We'll leave everything else alone. Advanced settings, auto-generate descriptions. That will take the first 155 or 160 characters of your post or page and use it as the meta description, which of course was this part right here, which shows up in the search results. And you can also overwrite this page by page or post by post if you want to. We're going to keep that checked, and we'll click on Update Options. All right, now let's hover our mouse over plugins again, and we're going to click on Add New, and we're going to add a social plugin. Speaking of social relevance, I'm going to add one called Easy Social Icons. Very simple plugin, but it seems to work well so far that I've been using it, so I'm going to go ahead and recommend it. I'm going to click Install Now. We'll activate the plugin. All right, so once you've got that plugin installed and activated, right under where it's the installed plugins page, it'll have the easy social icons, and there's a little short code you're going to need. We'll go ahead and copy that short code, and we'll go ahead and stick it into the default post that we have right now, the Hello World post on our website. So we'll go ahead and stick that short code in there, and we'll demonstrate how this plugin works. We'll stick it up on top of the text, and I'll go ahead and update. Now if we take a look at our Hello World default post, you'll notice that all these social icons are displaying. Now you'll have to put in your own accounts in order for these icons to lead you to your own, like say YouTube account or Facebook account. So how you do that is you go back, and in the dashboard on the left there'll be an Easy Social Icon tab, and you'll just click on Manage Icons. And then you'll just click Edit and stick in your own URL of your, say, your Facebook page or Facebook profile, etc., etc. Now you can also just delete these accounts if you don't want to use, if you only want to use, say, YouTube and Twitter. and that sort of thing. So you don't have to have them all display. You can just delete them as you see fit. I'm going to say delete the Flickr one. Now we don't have a Flickr displaying. Besides deleting, you can also add your own social icons, say for different social platforms, Google Plus or Pinterest or that sort of thing. All you have to do is just under the Easy Social Icon menu tab, just click on Add Icons. Find an icon, say of Google Plus or Pinterest and that sort of thing online and download it to your computer in the correct size. So I'll go ahead and do that. So I found a little Google Plus icon that I've had, and then I also just pasted in the Google Plus URL from this account right here. And I'll take off I'll just leave in the about. And we'll put the sort order as, we'll just leave it as 0 for now, open a new window, and I'll click Save Changes. Let's go back to our Hello World post and reload the tab. And it shows up a little bigger, so I'll have to adjust the size a little bit on that. So what I would need to do is actually take this image and make it 32 by 32. Adjust the size of this image so it would match all these other icons, but you get the gist of it. So that's how you add your own icons. Alright, so now we're going to add another plugin. We're going to hover over plugins and click on Add New. And this plugin is called Ultimate Tiny MCE. And what the Ultimate Tiny MCE plugin does, after I click Install Now, gives you added functionality for the WordPress visual editor. Click on this little icon right here, which opens up what is called the kitchen sink. These are the options you have right now, which is fairly similar to like Microsoft Word and that sort of thing, but with the Ultimate Tiny MCE plugin, after I activate it, it gives you even more options on your visual editor without having to use HTML code. So you'll now have a tab called Ultimate Tiny MCE. We'll go ahead and click on that. Now there are a whole bunch of options here. You can look through them and install the ones you want. I'm going to put a couple on here right now. I would suggest using these two right here, font select and font size. And there's a whole bunch of different ones here. You can look on here and try them out if you'd like. One I would suggest using is the line break, though. I'll add that in row 2. And then after you're done picking out the options you want, you'll just click Update Options. Now we'll go back to our visual editor and reload the tab. Now we have a bunch more options here. Now you can play around with that plugin if you like, but it does give you some cool options for the visual editor, which is what most people like to use rather than using the HTML section. Now we're going to add a security plugin. WordPress is fairly secure out of the box, but there's a lot of guys out there trying to hack into websites right now, WordPress websites. This one is called WordFence Security. The reason I really like it is that you can just use it right out of the box. It's the simplest one to set up. So I'm going to click OK. You don't have to make any changes at all, I think, besides maybe putting in your email and that sort of thing. So I'm going to click Activate Plugin. And right here, we can just put in our email if we'd like, get alerted. Now for a couple plugins that are specifically for the 2014 theme, which we are going to use. So let's hover over Add New again. This will allow us to make some tweaks to our 2014 theme site without doing any CSS code changes or any of that sort of thing. It's called 14 Extended, and we'll go ahead and install now. We'll go ahead and activate this one. Then we'll add one more new plugin by clicking on Add New again. Now we're going to add 14 colors. We'll go ahead and install now. Now I'm not sure if this will happen to you, but I actually got an error regarding this Jetpack plugin, so I actually deactivated this plugin, Jetpack by WordPress.com. I don't know if you'll have to do that or not, but if you get an error code, then go ahead and deactivate that plugin. Alright, now let's make a couple tweaks to our 2014 theme using these two plugins that we just installed. Hover your mouse over Appearance and then click on Customize. And the Customize screen allows you to have a preview of what your changes you're implementing before you actually save them and make them permanent. And we have quite a few more options in our Customize screen now that we've added those two plugins. So the first thing we're going to do is click the down arrow for the 2014 General Options. And right now the site as is aligned to the left, and it has the default color scheme of the black with the darker green accent color. And we are going to change that. So we're going to put a check in the center aligned site layout, and we're also going to remove left sidebar. Put a check in that box, and it'll instantly give you a preview of what your site will look like. You can't really see that it's center aligned, but we'll take a look at our site after we save our changes. Since we're hiding the left sidebar, we have to make a change to our 2014 content options. right here where it says set content max width, we have to change that default 474 to 700. Now down under colors, let's open up that, and we're going to change the color scheme. We're actually going to change it to this darker blue with this lighter green. And instead of scrolling through all the colors to pick a color, I'm actually going to use something called Colorzilla. This is a cool little Firefox add-on, and I believe there's one for Chrome also. What Colorzilla allows you to do, right up here on the top I have Colorzilla icon. I'm just going to click on that. And what it does, it has a little crossbar right here, and wherever you hover the crossbar, it'll copy that color. So I'm going to just click, and that'll copy that dark blue to the clipboard. We'll go back here and contrast color. I'll just paste in the dark blue. Then we'll come back to our site, and I'll click on Colorzilla again to activate it. And I'll click inside the light green that I want to copy, and I'll paste in the light green for the accent color. Okay, that's all the changes we're going to make using those plugins, so I'm going to click Save and Publish. And now, if I reload the tab for our site, we have no left sidebar, and we have the dark blue with the light green accent color. So that's all the changes we're going to make using these plugins. Now our site eventually is going to look like this with the left sidebar and the dark blue colors and no header. But first of all, we're going to configure a header with no left sidebar. So let's keep on. Before you get started adding content to your website, it's a very good idea to have your site planned out. You can use like a mind map or Microsoft Word or something like that to plan out your site, to outline your site's content. There is a free mind map software called FreeMind that you could use, by the way. Now first I am going to go over the basic details here of keyword research. I'm just going to do an overview so as not to make this video too long, but I will be doing a separate, more in-depth video hopefully fairly shortly. Our fictitious business site is focused on the HVAC field, the heating, ventilation, air conditioning field in Seattle, Washington. Say we decide our main keyword is going to be Seattle heating and AC. So let's go to Google, and I did a search for heating Seattle. Now you'll want to be logged out of your Google account so as not to skew the search results. I did a search for Seattle heating and AC, but it didn't give me the results that I wanted, so I put in heating Seattle, which is a similar term. Now down at the bottom of the page, searches related to heating Seattle. This is what Google thinks are relevant related searches to the heating Seattle term. We've got heating repair Seattle, solar heating, heating oil, all sorts, air conditioning Seattle, HVAC Seattle. I'll go ahead and click on heating repair Seattle. Now at the bottom of the page we have some different search terms that are related to heating repair Seattle. Furnace repair Seattle, water heater repair Seattle. I'll go ahead and click on furnace repair Seattle. And now we have a bunch more terms here. Gas furnace repair Seattle, furnace parts, boiler repair Seattle, furnace cleaning Seattle. So you get the idea. This is a really good way to get what Google considers relevant search terms relevant to the search term that you want people to find your site with. Now the way we are going to structure our site content, here is a mind map that I've made up. It's what's called siloing, and Google really likes this organized internal linking structure, and they tend to give you a lot more credit than a haphazard way of structuring your site content. So we've come up with our main keyword for our website, Seattle heating or Seattle heating and air conditioning. Here are some related keywords which are going to be pages and blog categories. So we have furnaces Seattle, heat pump Seattle, air conditioning Seattle, water heater Seattle. As I said, these are going to be pages, main pages of our site, and they're also going to be a blog category. Now underneath the furnaces Seattle page, we have some more related categories and child pages. So these are all these terms here are going to be child pages of the furnaces Seattle page, and they're also going to be subcategories of the furnaces Seattle category. So say the first page that we've added underneath the Furnaces Seattle page, the child page, will be called Furnace Maintenance in Seattle. This Furnace Maintenance in Seattle page would have a link in the content, so it's called a contextual link, and it would link back to the Furnaces Seattle page. If we add another page underneath our Furnaces Seattle page, New Furnaces, Seattle New Furnaces or something like that, this would have a link in the content to the Furnace Maintenance page, which of course links back to the Furnaces Seattle, and so forth. So they kind of link down, the link juice as it's called, kind of flows down and then back up to the main page, which goes to the home page. Of course, you can have a lot more than 5 pages, 5 categories underneath a page if you'd like. Now, if we want to carry this one step further, say under the gas furnace page, which is a child page of the Furnaces Seattle page, we decide we want something called gas furnace repair in Seattle. Now, this would be a blog post which would be under the gas furnace subcategory, which of course is a subcategory of the Furnaces Seattle page. And this would have a link in the content somewhere to the gas furnace page. And you can have a whole bunch of posts underneath all these subcategories and subpages if you'd like. So I could have 10 blog posts under the gas furnace subcategory and so on. So let's go to our site and I'll demonstrate what I'm talking about here. Alright, so let's hover our mouse over pages and then click on Add New to add some new pages. We'll add a new page called Furnaces Seattle. And then we'll go ahead and publish that. And then we'll go ahead and do the same thing for all the rest of those related category pages like we were talking about. Heat pumps, air conditioning, and water heaters, Seattle. Alright, so I went ahead and added those other pages. Now you can see under the pages listing we have all our new pages. Furnaces Seattle, heat pumps Seattle, sample page. Let's go ahead and get rid of that sample page while we're here. And Seattle air conditioning, and there's our home page, water heater Seattle. So we'll go ahead and add some child pages to our Furnaces Seattle page with all these titles right here. We'll just click on Add New. We'll demonstrate one. So we have our first one we wanted to make was our furnace maintenance. And we're going to make this right over here on the right where it says Page Attributes. We are going to make this a child page of Furnaces Seattle. So we'll go ahead and that'll be the parent page, Furnaces Seattle. We'll go ahead and click Publish. I'll go ahead and pause the video while I make up the rest of those child pages for our site. Alright, now you'll notice we have see a little dash before the page name. That means it's a child page of the top page right here. So now we have our 5 child pages under the Furnaces Seattle page. Now we're going to make some categories with the same title. So we're over Posts, click on Categories. So we'll go through the same process. So we have our Furnaces Seattle category. I'm going to copy this and I'll show you why in just a sec. Now we also want a slug, which is what shows up as your permalink. It all in lowercase, and we want the word separated with a dash. So Furnaces Seattle category, and then Furnaces dash Seattle in lowercase for the slug. The slug is just what shows up, say, right up here in your page name. You see right here we have category and then post name. So we have our post name as Hello World. This is what's called the slug, Hello-World. And I'm going to go ahead and add a new category, and then I'm going to do the same for all our other main categories. I'll pause the video. Alright, now we have our categories, our blog categories with all the same titles as our pages of our site. And I'm going to change the site title, the main site title to Seattle Heating and Air Conditioning rather than just AC. And you notice right here if I do an edit here, here's the category name, Heat Pump Seattle, and here's the slug as I was talking about, Heat dash Pumps dash Seattle, all in lowercase. Now let's add those subcategories that we made up for our site right here. These will be our subcategories. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate one for you. So we'll add our furnace maintenance subcategory, and I'll just go ahead and copy that and paste it in for our slug, all lowercase, furnace dash maintenance slug, and the parent for furnace maintenance will be Furnaces Seattle. And I'll go ahead and add that. Now you'll notice underneath, just like in pages, we have our Furnaces Seattle, and then here is a subcategory. I'll go ahead and add the rest of the subcategories for our site. Alright, so now we have our categories and all our subcategories of the Furnaces Seattle. See, and they have the exact same counterparts with the pages. We have the pages, Furnaces Seattle, and the child pages and all our main pages. So now we have our site structure set up for us. I'll get into the internal linking and that sort of thing, demonstrate that a little bit later in the video. But now let's get our home page of our site configured. Alright, now let's start configuring our home page of our site. Now this is the home page such as it is right now, and if it looks a little different, that's because I just updated some plugins, including those two plugins that are specific for the 2014 theme, the 14 colors and 14 extended plugins. And this is what the site looks like now. Now what happened was, if we go back here, there's a new option that was added to the newest version of this 14 extended plugin, which remove featured content section. And if you check that, that removes that right there. And what the featured content section is, you can feature images which are connected to posts of your site right up on top of the header. It looks just like this right here. So you notice I have 3 different images, and if I click on one, it takes me to a post, so you could customize your site that way. I'll show you how to do this also, but that'll be a little later on in the video. Right now I'm going to go back to our WordPress dashboard, and then under the customize section I'm going to put a check in that box, remove the featured content section, save and publish. Okay, now our site looks back the way it was before, such as it is. So the first thing we're going to do is configure our home page to look something like this, with a header image and a right sidebar and no left sidebar, and of course content in the home page. So let's go back to our WordPress dashboard. Then under appearance, let's click on header. Alright, so it says the suggested width is 1260, suggested height is 240. Now I would make it 1260 wide, but you can make it any height you want pretty much, within reason. You could make it 300 or 200, but we're going to make our header 1260 by 240. So we're going to go to a site called pixlr.com, Pixlr.com. And once we're there, we'll click on Pixlr Editor. And we can do a few things at Pixlr, including editing and resizing our images and that sort of thing, and I'll show you about that a little later. But right now we'll just click on create a new image. Have our width right here. I'll just highlight that right there and type in 1260, and then for the height we'll make it 240. And we don't want this box checked. We don't necessarily want a transparent image, but I'll show you what it looks like because it's not really going to matter anything for our header anyway. So I'll put a check in the box, transparent. Okay, so now this is a 1260 by 240 and there's no background at all, no color. It's totally transparent, but we're going to change that. We're going to add what's called a gradient. So right over here on the left toolbar, this little image right here, you click on that, that's the gradient tool. Now we have our gradient options listed right here. Now this gradient right here by default goes from just white to black, and we don't want that. We want our gradient to go from light blue to dark blue, so we have to put in different colors, and to do that I'm going to use ColorZilla first of all to copy the light blue color in this header I've already done. I'll just click and it'll be copied to the clipboard, and then I would just go back to our site that we're working on, click on ColorZilla again, and I'll click in there to copy the dark blue colors. Now I've already copied this to a text file, so here's the colors we're going to use. So I'm going to click on the gradient, and then I'll click on this color right here. Right now it's talking about the white right here, so I'll click on that. And then I'm going to paste in that light blue color that I've already found through the ColorZilla. Double click in there to highlight it and copy, and then I'll say OK. Then I'll click on the dark side of the gradient, the dark side. I'll click on that. Then I'll click on the color, and I'll get the dark blue color, and I'll paste that color in there. Okay, so our gradient goes from a kind of a lighter blue to a darker blue now. And I'm just going to click on the gradient tool once again. That'll get rid of that option box. Now what you want to do is just hold your mouse right at the top of the image, and then hold down the mouse, hold down the left mouse, and then drag it down to the bottom. And there we go, there's our gradient. Now you could hold the mouse down on the bottom and drag it to the top, and that way your gradient will be light at the bottom and dark at the top. But we want it the other way around, so I'm going to go ahead and just drag it down this way again. Alright, that's our gradient. So now let's add some text layers. So over on the toolbar, that little capital A right there, that's the text tool. So I'll click on that to select it, and then I'll click inside the image here. That'll open up our text box. I'll just type in our fictitious business name. For the size, I'll make it about 44, and I'll make it bold. and I'll click on this color to change the color. I'm going to type in 6Fs for white. I'll click OK, then I'll click in here again to make another text box, and I'll make it bold. And we want the color to be a kind of a green like that. So I'm going to copy that green by clicking on ColorZilla and holding the little crossbar right inside the green and clicking on that. Now, of course, you can always choose a color on the color wheel or type in a different color and all sorts of things, but I'm just going to paste in the color that we already have, and I'll click OK. I'll click OK here. I'm going to add a couple more text layers, so I'm going to pause the video while I do that. Alright, I got a couple more text layers in there. Now you notice I have the phone number right here, and I have it, I'll make it bold, and it's a black right now. I want to match this green right here for the phone number, so I'm going to just click inside this black color right now, and then if you hold the mouse outside of the color option box, you'll notice it turns into a eyedropper, which will just match whatever color you click on. So I'll go ahead and click inside the green right there, and that'll copy that color, and I'll click OK. Alright, so now let's move the text layers around so they're all in alignments. The mic's heating and cooling's in a pretty good position. I'm going to select over here on the right under layers. I'll select Pro Service at Fair Prices. I'll click right up here on the very top right of the toolbar, the Move tool, and then whatever layer you have selected over here on the right, you can move it around just by holding down your left mouse. And I'll line it up from there. And I'll go ahead and select Call for a Free Quote, and I'll line it up right about there, and this one right here I'll put it right about there. So that looks pretty good right there, so I'll just leave it as is. Now I'm going to add some effects to the text, so I'm going to select Mike's heating and cooling, and then I'm going to right click inside the layer by the layer and click layer styles. And I'm going to put a check in the drop shadow box. Now you notice a little black drop shadow is appearing. I'm going to click the mouse on the drop shadow right there. That'll open up the option box, and I'll make the distance a little less pronounced. You notice it's quite a bit right now, so I'll make it 3, and I'll make the size a 4. I'll click OK. And I'm going to add the drop shadow effect to the rest of the text layers while I pause the video. Okay, I added the drop shadow effect to the rest of the text layers, of course, which I did by selecting the layer I wanted to edit, right click, select layer styles, put a check in the drop shadow box, and then click on the drop shadow text. It opens up the options, and then I made the distance 3 and the size of 4, which you can of course adjust to your liking. Now it's time to add an image to our header. So I've already got an image that I'd like, so I'm going to click on File and then Open Image, and it's going to open right to the file that I've already tried before, and I'm going to use the HVAC guy right here. Double click on that to open it up. Alright, so we already know the image is going to have to be resized because our header is only 240 high and this is 480 high. So we can do a couple different ways. We can crop it and then resize it, or we can resize the image first and then crop it if we want to. I'm going to crop it first to make it a little bit less high, so I selected the crop tool over on top left, the toolbar, and I'm going to left click and hold the mouse inside the image, and I'm just going to drag it down about like that, so it's a little bit less pronounced. Now you see all these little double lines in here. You can hold down your mouse, left mouse, and adjust it to wherever you'd like. I'm just going to leave as is, so then I'm going to click over here. I'm going to apply the changes, yes. I clicked over in the image over here, background, and now I'm going to resize the image. So you just hover your mouse and click on image and then click on image size. I'm going to keep this box checked with constrained proportions, which means if you adjust one aspect of the image, such as the width or the height, the other aspect will change proportionally. So we know the height of the header is 240, so let's make the height of this image 210. I'll go ahead and click OK. There we go. And before we can use this image in our header, let's click on this little lock right here, double click to unlock the layer. There we go. Now I'm just going to hold my left mouse down and drag it over into the header. There we go. Okay, we have the image layer, layer 0 copy apparently. We have that selected, so I'm going to click on the Move tool, and then I'm going to hold the left mouse down and move it over to where we'd like it, right about there. And there we go. There's our header. So let's click on File to save our header and click on Save. We're first going to save it as a PXD under Format, so click the down arrow, then click on PXD, which means when you save it as a PXD, you can open this up in Pixlr again and edit it if you ever want to down the road. So we're going to save that. I'm just going to save it on my computer where I already saved it before, and I'll just resave it. Yes, I want to save it again. And then now we'll click on File again and save it as a JPEG. So JPEG is good for most photos. That's the best way to save your images, JPEG if you can. So I'm going to click on OK and then just resave it again. Okay, we've got our header configured, so let's go back to our site in the WordPress dashboard. Now we're in under Appearance, Header. Let's click on Browse to find that image of the header that we just made. I'll double click on it. Then I'm going to click on Upload and just click Skip Cropping, Publish Image as is. And the last step, don't forget to do this, just click Save Changes. And I'll go back to our site and reload the tab. And there we go, we have our header. Notice how the light blue blends right into the dark blue navigation bar color right down at the bottom, so it all looks seamless. Before I forget, I'll show you a cool little app that I use sometimes. It's called Measure It, and it's really handy for finding, estimating the size of an image you need and that sort of thing. So you can install it on Firefox or Chrome, I believe, too. I'm going to click on the Measure It icon. I've already got it installed on my computer on Firefox. I'll click on that, and now you'll have a little crossbar. Now you just hold on down the left mouse of wherever you want to measure, and then just drag your mouse and it shows you what size you're measuring right there. So this one is 325 by 212 approximately. We already know it's 210. There we go. 328 by 210. But if you didn't have an image in here and you wanted to know how big an image you needed, you could use Measure It to kind of approximate how big an image you needed. So I'll click in there again to close Measure It out. Alright, our home page looks pretty good so far with our header. Now let's start adding some content to the home page. But before we get started adding content, the first thing I notice is that people can still leave a reply on our home page. So let's go back to our WordPress dashboard and let's hover over Settings and then click on Discussion. And it looks like I neglected to uncheck this box right here, allow people to post comments on new articles. So we'll go ahead and uncheck that box and click on Save Changes. And that will take away the option for people to leave comments on any new pages that we create. But as far as the pages we've already created, we've got to take away that option in another way. So let's click on Hover Over Pages and then click on All Pages. And you can do this by a page-by-page basis, but let's just do it the easy way. We'll put a little check in this title box here, and that'll select all the pages on screen. If you have a lot of pages, you're probably going to have to do this a couple times. You have to go to, however many pages you have, pages of pages. Let's just click on this down arrow here under bulk actions and then select edit, and then we'll click apply. And then over here on the where it says comments, let's click the arrow to expand it and click do not allow, and then we'll click update. And that'll take away the option to leave comments on any of these pages we had selected. Now, if you did want to add the ability to leave comments, say on your blog page, just click on Quick Edit, and right over here where it says Allow Comments, just put a check in that box, and then of course click Update. So let's start adding some content to our home page. So we'll find our home page, which we're calling Seattle Heating and AC, and I'll just go ahead and click on that. And the first thing I'm going to change is the page title, because I believe we decided it was going to be Seattle Heating and Air Conditioning, not AC. And I'll just click Update for that. Now I'm going to paste in some content that I already have made up. It's from a Word document that I have. So first I'm just going to select this right up here and click Copy. Place our cursor in there. Now I'm going to use this option where it says paste from Word, this little W right here. If you're pasting from plain text, you can use this right here. I'm going to click on this W, paste from Word. I'll go ahead and paste the content in there and I'll click insert. If you use Microsoft Word, sometimes it'll put invisible characters in there when you paste it onto your WordPress edit screen. So you want to use the paste from Word option. Okay, first of all, I'd like this a little bigger, so we're going to use this option right here, the font size, which we added using the Ultimate Tiny MCE plugin. 28, and see how that looks, and I'll click Update. Okay, now it doesn't always look the same on your edit screen as far as what it looks like on your site. Let's go back to our page on our site and click Reload. We'll see how it looks on our site. And that looks perfect. So let's continue on adding content. I'll paste this in right here. I'll just paste all this content in right here, right down to here. I'll just click Copy, and I'll place the cursor right there and click the W for Paste from Word, and I'll insert it into our page. I'm going to click Update, and we'll reload the tab. Okay, that looks pretty good so far. Now there is something called on-page optimization, which involves, just optimizing your content for the search engines, basically. And I'm not going to cover that in this video because the video can only be so long, but look for a video on my channel which will be about WordPress on-page SEO or something to that regard. Alright, so let's add an image below all this content right here. But before we add an image, let's talk about images a little bit. Let's go to our Mindmap, and I'll go ahead and open up the Media Images tab right here. First of all, where do you find images to use on your website? Well, using images that you find doing a Google search is generally not a good idea because you may run the risk of copyright infringement and have to pay a fine if you do get caught doing that. Use royalty-free images instead. On the Mindmap, there are quite a few really good sources for free, royalty-free images. All you have to do is click on these links right here and it'll take you straight to the web page. There are a few paid sources that you can use also. Now, what types of images should you use? Generally, if you can, use a JPEG image. Those have a smaller file size, but sometimes you do have to use PNGs, especially transparent PNGs. It's also generally a good idea to resize your images before you upload them to your WordPress sites. And we're going to go to pixlr.com and edit an image, and I'll show you how to do that and resize them. And if you have the EWW Image Optimizer plugin installed, that will automatically optimize your image file sizes to the smallest size possible. We're also going to talk about optimizing our images, SEO optimizing our images with our keyword phrases. And we'll talk about featured images a little later, and we're going to make an image gallery. But let's go back to our site now, and we're going to put an image on our home page. First of all, how big of an image do we need? Let's use the Measure It Firefox add-on that I have. I'm going to click on that, and I'm just going to approximate about how big of an image we need or want. So we're going to say about 420 wide or so. We'll be looking pretty good. Go ahead and close that out. And I've already got some images that I had for a client that was in the HVAC business, so I'm going to use a couple of those on this site. I'm going to use this one for the home page, and it is a 1280 by 960, which is way too large. We said we wanted about 420 wide, so we're going to take this image and resize it over at pixlr.com. So I'm just going to open up the Pixlr editor, and then I'm going to open image from computer, and it goes straight to the file that I wanted because I've already gone there once before. So now I'm going to double click on the image and it'll open it up in the edit screen. And first of all, we'll just click on image and then image size, and then I'm going to keep this little box checked so the proportions will be resized proportionally. And then I'm just going to type in 420 for the width, and then the height will be automatically adjusted, and I'll just click OK. Then I'm going to click on File, and then I'm going to save it. And I'm going to save it with a keyword phrase. And our home page is, I believe we're calling it Seattle Heating and Air Conditioning. So I'm going to use something similar. I'm going to keep it all in lowercase and separate the words with a hyphen for the file name. Air Conditioning Seattle, what I'll call the file. And then I'm going to save it as a JPEG, and I'm going to click OK to save it to my computer. Okay, let's go back to our WordPress dashboard, and then we'll upload our resized image. So we're on our page edit screen, and I'm just going to place the cursor inside the edit screen. Then I'll hit enter, and then the image will be inserted wherever you have your cursor placed. Now I'm going to click on Add Media. Then I'm going to click on Upload Files. Then I'll just drag our new image onto the screen here. Okay, now we're going to put a few things in here. Now you notice the file name is optimized with a keyword phrase. We're also going to put the keyword phrase inside our title, caption, alt text, and descriptions. We're just going to call this image Heating and Air Conditioning Seattle. I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to take and place it inside the caption, pretty much everywhere that they allow us to do that. Now you can actually put more keywords in your description if you want to. You can put a couple other related keywords. You can put a little bit longer description in there with related keywords if you'd like. The alignment I'm going to leave as none. I'm not going to link to anything, so I'll put none in there. And I'm going to insert it full size into the page. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and update, and we'll take a look on our site how it looks. And I'll go ahead and just reload the page. And there's our image with our keyword caption in there. Now say if we wanted to make this image a little bit smaller. Now you notice these little white boxes here. You can just hover your mouse over that and then hold down the shift button so that the size is proportionately resized. And I'm just going to hold down the left mouse and drag it just a little bit so it's a little bit smaller. And I'm going to click Update. Okay, now our image is just a little bit smaller. We'll leave it that way. Let's go ahead and click in here again, and I'll just click on this Edit Image icon. Now you can resize your images another way too. You can make it a smaller percentage. See, if you hover the mouse over it, it'll show you kind of a preview of that. You can align your images in here. You can link your images to wherever you'd like. If you click on Advanced Settings, you can put an exact size in here of your image if you'd like. And you can put CSS styles, you can put a border, all sorts of things. So I'm just going to click Update on there. Now let's go ahead and paste the rest of our content in. I'm just going to place our cursor there, and I'm going to hit Enter. And here's our Word document, so I'm just going to copy the rest of this content right here. And then I'll click on the W for Paste from Word again. Click that, Insert, and then we'll just insert that into our page. Then I'll just click Update. Alright, that looks pretty good for now. Now we're going to configure what's called the sidebar. And we're first going to configure our right sidebar on our site, so it's going to look something similar to this right here, this content on the right, the images, the coupon, here's a testimonials widget, and here's a contact, put a contact form in our sidebar. So let's go back to our WordPress dashboard and then hover over Appearance and then click on Widgets. Alright, so this is the sidebar we're going to configure first. It's the content sidebar. It says an additional sidebar that appears on the right. The primary sidebar for the 2014 theme is the left sidebar, but we've hidden that for now, so we're going to configure our content sidebar. Now over here where it says available widgets, now there's a bunch of different widgets, sometimes plugins, like here's the Easy Social Icon plugin that has a widget for it, and here's a custom menu widget which shows you can make a different menu for your sidebar, which we will do actually. And here's a widget that is used quite a bit. It says arbitrary text or HTML. It's called the text widget. Let's drag it up here to our content sidebar. You just hold your left mouse down, then drag it if you don't know how to do that. Then you just release left mouse and put it right there. Now you can put a title in here if you'd like. Now you can add any sort of text or HTML. You can put images in there and that sort of thing, but the only thing is with a text widget is you have to actually use HTML code. You don't have any access to the visual editor. There of course is a plugin that takes care of that problem for us. So let's go back to plugins, hover over plugins, and then click on Add New. And we're going to do a search for Black Studio Tiny MCE. Just like that Ultimate Tiny MCE, it adds a bunch of features for the visual editor, but actually it adds the visual editor to the widget area, the text widget. So let's click on Install Now, and then I'll just click on Activate. Okay, now let's hover over Appearance and click on Widgets again. Okay, we can just drag this off if we don't want to use the text widget anymore. You can also, if you have widgets that you perhaps want to use again, if you're not sure if you want to just delete them, you can drag them down to the inactive widget list, which is right here. Now that we've installed the Black Studio Tiny MCE plugin, now we have another widget called the Visual Editor. So let's just hold and drag this one up to our content sidebar. And now we can have access to the visual editor, all the options that we have on our main visual editor for the pages and posts, all the options that we added with the Tiny MCE plugin. We have all those options for our widget text editors. We can add some media, which is actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to add an image that I made up, which is an image that you can make actually using pixlr.com, but I'm just going to add it to our first widget here. And I'm going to upload files. Then I'm going to find the file and just drag and drop it right on here. I'm not going to link it to anything. No alignment, full size, 300 by 300. I'll insert into post. I've got it in here. Now I'm going to click save. Now we'll go back to our site and see what shows up. And there's our widget. And you notice it kind of pushes the content over to the left a little bit. Alright, for our second widget, I actually installed a plugin which I'll tell you about in just a moment here. I'm just going to drag this widget up here and then arrange it so it's below the first widget, and I'm just going to click save, and I'll go back and show you what it looks like. Alright, here's our second widget, the coupon that's on our sidebar now. And yes, I did switch out the dark green image for the blue one that you see now. Now the coupon was made using a plugin called WP Coupon Generator, which is not a free plugin, but it is a nice one. People that visit your site can click on this little button here. It can say whatever you'd like it to say. It doesn't have to say print coupon. After they click on the button, then a coupon will appear on screen, which they can print out and keep for use either now or in the future. And people do seem to like coupons. I will put a link to this plugin so you can purchase it in the Mindmap. And if you would like to get this plugin for free, I do offer this along with a couple other premium plugins included in my free WordPress installation offer that you can check out at my site, wphowtos.com. Alright, so let's continue adding stuff to our right sidebar. Now let's configure a testimonials widget. So let's go back to our WordPress dashboard and hover over plugins and click on add new again. And we'll do a search for testimonial basics. And here's the plugin right here. So I'm just going to install and activate it. Alright, after you've got it activated, over on the left you'll now have a testimonials tab, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. That'll take you to the Testimonial Basics basic instructions page. Now you can click on this link here if you do want to ask the plugin author some questions about using his plugin. He does seem to be supporting it really well. And if you do like the plugin, what I like to do is just give him a small donation, say $5 or something, just to support guys that make all these really nice free plugins. We're just going to do a pretty basic installation and use of this plugin. Under testimonials, let's click on options. Alright, here's the basic options page, and I would suggest putting a check in this box right here to use the 5-star rating system. I think the testimonials look better with the stars showing up. And you can use schema markup if you can do a search online and find out a little bit more about that, but you can use it if you'd like. It does seem to help for local search results especially. I'm just going to click Save Options because we checked that 5-star rating box. And now let's click on Widget Display. And there's a lot of different options you can use in here. I'm going to click Show Location in Widget, and I think that's about it. Maybe I'll use italic font style. I'll check that. And right here you can increase or decrease the time in between the rotating testimonials that we're going to have. Background color. What I'm going to do is actually match the background of the testimonials widget to our accent color on our site. So I'm going to click the ColorZilla widget again and copy this light green color. And I'm going to go back to our options page and paste that in for the background color of our testimonials widget. And you can change the font color and that sort of thing, but I'm just going to click Save Options. Now let's hover over testimonials and then click on Edit Testimonials. Alright, here's the page where you can add your own testimonials, or you can approve testimonials that people have left on your site. First of all, we're just going to add a couple testimonials to use in our widget. So I'm going to click approved first of all. Then I'm going to give it a 5-star rating. Then I'm going to use an image for the first testimonial that I make up. Let's go ahead and drop it on there. And if you do add any testimonials with images, make sure just to leave this link URL as is. I'll just click insert into post. Then I'll put a location here. And I'll put in some text. Give him a name. Then I'll add a couple more testimonials to use in our widget. And I'll approve it. And I'll give this one a 4.5 star. Make this myself. Click save. And I'll just go ahead and add one more testimonial to use. Alright, I got a few testimonials made up, so now let's hover over Appearance and click on Widgets. And we'll add our Testimonials widget. Testimonial Display widget is what we're looking for. And I'll go ahead and just put it below the coupon. Of course, you can name the title whatever you'd like, what our customers say. And I'm just going to leave all the rest of it the same, the group, the number, by date. And I'm going to put yes for rotate. Then I'll click save. And then we'll go back to our site and see what it looks like. Okay, it looks pretty good. I'm going to do one more thing to it to make it stand out a little bit more. I'm going to go back to our dashboard and hover over testimonials and click on options. And I'm going to click on widget display. And for our background color, I'm going to check this right here. Use formatted display. And then I'm going to click save options. And I'm going to click reload on our site. Alright, very nice. It looks very nice with the light green background. It matches the accent color of our site, and you notice the testimonials are just kind of rotating through so people can read them. Let's make a feedback page to put on our site so people can actually leave their own testimonials themselves. So let's go back to our WordPress dashboard, and under testimonials there's a testimonials option. We'll just click on that. And first of all, we're going to just highlight this code right here, visitor input form. We're going to need this short code, it's called. I'll go ahead and copy it. And then under testimonials, let's click on options and then click on input forms. We're not going to auto approve the testimonials. We'll use a pop-up thank you, see if that works. We'll use a CAPTCHA so the robots can't leave a bunch of spam on our sites. And I think that's about it for now. We'll just leave everything else the same. And we'll click Save Options. Now let's go and hover over Pages and click on Add New, and we'll add our feedback page. And we'll just call it Feedback. So I'm going to paste in some text that I've made up, and then I'll hit Enter, and then I'll paste in the short code, and then I'll go ahead and publish the page. Well, let's take a look what our page looks like. Okay, very nice. People have to just leave their name and email and then leave a testimonial, and they can include this other information if they'd like. So I'll just go ahead and put in some information here, and I'll give myself a 5-star rating. Then they have to solve the CAPTCHA, and just click on submit, and a pop-up appears saying testimonial submitted. Thank you. Alright, and after people submit a testimonial, you'll receive an email notifying you that you received a testimonial. Then you'll just go back to your WordPress dashboard and then click on testimonials, and I believe it's edit testimonials, and there should show up a testimonial which we need to approve now. Alright, here it is right here. You just click on this ID number to open it up, and then you can approve it or delete it depending on how you like the testimonial. We'll go ahead and approve it, and we'll just click Save Testimonials. You can also display your testimonials on a page instead of a widget area, just like this page right here that I've already made up. And to do that, let's go back to our dashboard, and then under the Testimonials tab, there is a short code that you'll need to paste into the page right here. And there's some different options you can take a look at if you'd like, but you can just paste in this short code, and then to get it to be a different color like we have displayed in this page right here, you'll go to the testimonials and then options and then content display, and then just like we did for the widget, it's down below at the bottom of the page here. I put in a testimonials box color. Make sure you check this box right here, check to include the formatted display, which is this stuff right here. So that's how you make a testimonials page. All right, now we're going to add a contact form to our right sidebar. So let's go back to our WordPress dashboard, and we need to install a couple plugins first. Let's hover over plugins and click on Add New. And the first plugin is called Really Simple CAPTCHA. Find that plugin and install and activate it. Okay, then we need to click on Add New again. We're going to install our contact form plugin, which is called Contact Form 7. That's a really good plugin. I've used this quite a bit. So we'll go ahead and install and activate this one too. Okay, once you have your Contact Form 7 plugin installed, you'll have a little Contact tab over on the left in your dashboard. Let's go ahead and click on that. And we're going to click on Add New for Contact Forms. And I've already made a small donation to these guys, by the way. I like to support the free plugin authors with a small donation. I'm going to click on Add New again because we're going to do our contact form in English. And I'm going to call this, right up here, I'm going to make a title called Right Sidebar. And I'll go ahead and save it. Now you'll have what's called a short code here. I'm just going to click once in there to highlight it, and I'm going to go ahead and right click and copy. And I'm going to hover over Appearance and open up Widgets in a new tab. We'll just go ahead and get the text widget once we're in the widget screen. And I'll just drag it up here and put it underneath the testimonials. I'm just going to paste in that shortcode that we copied. I'll go ahead and paste that in there. And I'll just put a title of questions. And I'll go ahead and save this. Let's go back and see what it looks like. Okay, right out of the box it doesn't look too bad, but I'm going to make a few adjustments to it. So let's go back to our Edit Contact Form screen. And the first thing I'm going to do is place the cursor behind this Your Name. And then I'm going to hit Enter once, and then I'm going to type in 30 and a /. And that's basically just adjusting the length of this field. I'm going to do the same thing with the email, so that, and then I'm going to remove the subject line to make our contact form and our sidebar a little more compact. And then for the text area, right after your message, I'm going to hit Enter, and then I'm going to just type in 20 times 4. Okay, now we're going to add a CAPTCHA form. So over here where it says Generate Tag, go ahead and just click on that down arrow, and you notice you have a lot of different fields that you can add to your Contact Form 7. And in fact, there's a download, a drop-down menu, and all sorts of other things. But we're just going to click on CAPTCHA, check the medium size for image size of the CAPTCHA, and then first I'm going to copy the image CAPTCHA shortcode. So I'm just going to click in there once and copy, and I'll come over here and hit Enter a couple times, and then select and copy the CAPTCHA form input field shortcode, and I'll go ahead and enter it in there. Now I'm just going to save it again, and we'll go back and see what it looks like. Reload the tab, and there you go. Now it's just a little bit more compact, and we also have our CAPTCHA form in there. People need to fill out a CAPTCHA so that you won't get so much spam from your contact form. Okay, let's go back to our Edit Contact Form, and there's a few other things that we're going to go over. First of all, how would you add a new field? Well, here's what I do. I just copy this right here. I just copy one of these fields. I'll go ahead and just copy it. And say we want to add something below the email, so I'll just go ahead and hit Enter, and I'll paste this in here. Now over in the Generate Tag, let's see, we'll add a checkboxes. You can make it a required field if you want. And the choice is Urgent, Just Checking. We'll make it exclusive so they can just check one or the other. Copy this code right here, and then first of all, where we copied this field, I'm going to copy this shortcode and put that right in there. Select that and then paste the new shortcode in there. I'm going to title this Need Answer Fast. You'll also need to copy this code right here. This is for the email that you received, so I'm just going to paste it in there somewhere. I'll type it in there. Okay, and I'll go ahead and click Save, and we'll go see what it looks like. Okay, cool. Now we have a little checkbox here where people can either check one or the other if they need an answer fast or not. That was just an example. So let's go back to our contact form. There's a couple other things we'll take a look at. Right below the contact form field, there's a mail field. If it's not opened up, you'll need to just click on it to open it up. This is where you'll receive the contact form information. So whatever email is listed there is that's where it's going to be sent by default. It's your WordPress admin email. And from, you can just leave that as is if you want. Subject, we don't have a subject, so we're just going to put site contact. And I'm over here in the message body. This is what is going to be included in the email that you receive. I'm going to remove the subject line, and we can just leave the rest as is if you'd like. Now down below here where it says mail to, I'm going to put a check in this box. This is an email that whoever sent you a contact message on your site will receive a confirmation email too. Once they click on send after they typed out their message, a little box will pop up say thank you, but this will also send them an email to their email that they included in the contact. To your email, that's good. And from, we're going to put our fictitious business name, Mike's Heating and Cooling, regarding your website inquiry. And over here in the message body, we're just going to put a different message in here, hi, and then I'm going to put their name. I'll type in a short message. Okay, I put a little message in here. This is what they'll receive. Hi, and then whatever their name they typed into the contact form, and then a little message. So this is kind of like an autoresponder, so they'll get another message, making sure they don't forget that they actually sent an email or a message to you. Okay, so that is our contact form. I'm going to go click on contact forms. You can also paste a short code into a contact us page or something like that. So for instance, I could just take this form right here, this short code right here, and paste it into a page, and then we'll have a contact page. So I'm going to do that. I'm not going to walk you through the process, but we'll just have a contact us page on our site too. Alrighty, now we have our contact us page, and we also have our contact form here. I added a little line here above the CAPTCHA to tell them to enter the CAPTCHA to prove they're human. So we have our right sidebar configured, and we have our header on our site. Now we are going to reconfigure our site to look something like this. We're going to add an image slider on the home page, and we're going to add back our left sidebar, put some content in there, including a custom menu on the side. Along with, we're going to make a custom menu for our top menu also. And right here, this is displaying what are called the featured images, kind of in a grid. This is optional. You don't have to display this if you don't want to. Let's go back to our WordPress dashboard and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is hover over Appearance and click on Customize. We're going to go from top to bottom. So right where it says Site Title and Tagline, we'll go ahead and just check that box. 2014 General Options. Click the arrow to expand that, and we'll uncheck the Remove Left Sidebar. There's our left sidebar. And now under 2014 Content Options, where it says Set Content Max Width, since we have our left sidebar again, we want to decrease this value, so I'm going to change it to 500. And there's some other options you can check out. All I'm going to do is go down to where it says Header Image. I'll click that arrow. Click the arrow again. We're under the header image. And then scroll down, and I'm going to click on the link Remove Image. And that'll do it for now. We'll configure the featured grid on the top of the home page a little later, but right now I'm just going to click Save and Publish. We'll go back and check out our home page real quick. Alright, here's our new look so far. First thing I'm going to do before we get started with anything else is make these page titles a lot smaller so they don't take up so much room. We're going to leave them on our site for the search engines, but we're just going to make them much smaller. So I'm going to right click in there, and I'm going to click Inspect with Firebug. Now Firebug allows you to see the CSS and HTML code, but I'm not going to go over that. If you'd like to learn how to use Firebug, you can check out a video on my site. But we're just going to copy this code and paste it into our child theme and adjust the font size. And here is our child theme we're using. I'm just going to paste that code right in there. And then I'm going to click Update File. Alright, that looks much better. The page titles are much smaller now, so they don't stand out so much. Now we're going to add an image slider to our home page. First thing we're going to need to do is install a plugin. So let's go back to our WordPress dashboard and hover over Plugins and click on Add New. And we'll do a search for Cyclone Slider 2. And I'm going to install and activate this plugin. Alright, now you'll have a Cyclone Slider tab over on the left of your dashboard. after you install and activate the Cyclone Slider 2 plugin. So I'm just going to click on that. And I am going to click on Add Slideshow. And I'll call our slider 2 since I've already tried this once. And I'll click on Publish. Now we're going to need some images to use as slides in our slider. So let's go to our home page, and I'm going to click on the Measure It icon, and I'm just going to approximate how big of an image I'd like. So I know it's going to be about 500 wide because that's what we set our max width of our content. And I think I'll make it about this size right here. So about 220, 500 by 220. Close that out. Now we're going to go back to pixlr.com and we're going to resize some images to use in our slider. We're going to resize them to be 500 by 220, 500 wide by 220. So once you're on pixlr.com, just click on the editor again. And I've already got some images that I'm going to use, so I'm going to click on Open Image from Computer. And it's just going to open up right in here because I've already done this before. You'll have to navigate to your images that you have on your computer. I'll just use this image right here. Okay, right now it's 1280 by 960. Now we can resize it several different ways. We can crop it and then resize it, or we can just crop it alone, or we can resize and then crop, and I think that's what we're going to do. So first we're going to hover over image, and then click on that and click on image size, and I'm going to leave this box checked so that it's resized proportionally. Type in 500 and click OK. Okay, now we have a 500 by 375 image, and we wanted it 220. So what I'm going to do now, first of all, I'll select this crop tool up in the upper left. Then where it says constraint above the tools section, I'm going to click this arrow and click on output size, and we already got 500 width, so I'm going to type in 220 for the height. And now I'm just going to hold the mouse and then hold down your left mouse outside of the image, and then just click and drag until you can't drag anymore. Drag over and down, and now you'll have this section right in here, which is the 500 by 220 section. You can hold your left mouse down and adjust where you want the crop to be. I'm just going to go right here, and then I'm going to click on the crop tool again to crop this image, and yes, I do want to apply the changes. Now I'm just going to click on File and save this to our computer, and I'm going to save it with a related keyword to our home page. So I'm going to type in Heating Service Seattle, and now I'm going to click OK and just go ahead and save it on my computer. Okay, now I'm going to add one more image. I'm going to go through the same process again. I'm just going to pause the video while I get that done. Alright, we've got a couple images in our required size now. Now I'm just going to click on Add Images as Slides. Then I'm going to click on Upload Files. Then I'll just drag those two images that I resized at Pixlr onto the screen here. Okay, now you notice these two check marks. Here we have our two images, new images uploaded. We also want to, of course, put in our related keywords that we use for our image name. We also want to type that into the caption, alt text, and description box, just like that, and then we'll just copy this related keyword, and we're going to use it for our alt text and in our description also. And this is for the image that is selected. You'll want to do the same thing. You'll just click on this, and then you'll do the same thing for this other image here. I'm just going to add the images as slides. I'll click on this button right here. Now we have our two images for our slider. Of course, you can add more images than that if you'd like. And right here where it says caption, I'm going to paste in something I've already got made up. I'll do it for both images. And also where it says link, you can link these to a page or a post on your site. Image attributes, that's where you can actually add your related keyword for the images right in here for alternate text and title text. So you can do that in your image slider also. I would, just for the search engines. Over on the right you'll see basic settings. Now we're just going to leave the transition effects as fade. This is the slide delay, how long it takes. 4000 is 4 seconds. Width management we're going to leave as responsive. Pause and hover, yes. Show previous next button, I'm going to say no. Show navigation, no. Resize images, I'm also going to select no. Random slide order, no. Now I'm going to click on update. Over on the right you'll see a short code. It says your short code. We're just going to click once in there, or we'll click a couple times in here to highlight it. Then I'm going to right click and copy. And now I'm going to go back to our home page. Alright, here's the edit window for our home page. I'm just going to paste in that shortcode, put it above everything else, and I'm going to click update. Then we'll go back to our home page and reload the tab and check out our slider. And there we go. Oops. Alright, I got that fixed real easy. Now what I actually had to do was go back and edit something in here. I said to leave this alone, but I actually changed this to 500 by 220, our image size, and then clicked update and everything was fine. Now it's time to make what are called custom menus. Right now our pages are just displayed up on top here like this in the order that we made the pages, but we want to display them the way we want them to. Plus we're going to make another custom menu and put it in a widget for the left sidebar. So let's go back to our WordPress dashboard and hover over appearance, and we're going to click on menus. First we're going to name our menu. I'll just call it main top, and I'll click create menu, and we'll just add a few of our pages here that we want. Our contact us, our testimonials, our home page, and our blog. We're going to click add to menu. Put a check in the box under theme locations, put a check in top primary menu, and then click on save menu. And we'll go check out our site and see what it looks like. There we go, we have our top primary menu, but I like the order in which the pages are displayed to be changed a little bit. So, and all you have to do to change the order is just click and drag. So just hold your left mouse down, and I'm going to drag this up to the top. This is going to be our home page. I'll put this right here, and that looks good. And another thing we're going to change. Right now this is our home page and it shows up in the menu as Seattle Heating and Air Conditioning. I'm just going to change it to home. The page title will remain the same, but I'm just going to change this under navigation label, and then I'm going to just click save menu again, and there we go. We have our home button right here, and then our other pages. So for our top menu, and you can also have sub-menus if you'd like by left-clicking and dragging and indenting it, and then it'll show up as a sub-menu. I'll save the menu. So now there'll be a little arrow there, and then when you hover your mouse over it, there's the secondary sub-menu, child page they're called. I'll just go back and change that. Okay, now I saved that. Now I'm just going to click create a new menu, and we'll make a menu for our left sidebar. And we'll just call this one left sidebar. And I'll click create menu. And we'll just add all those keyword pages that we made up. And I'm not going to add any of the child pages to our menu. And I'm just going to click add to menu. We'll just leave the order the same. And under theme locations, I'm going to put a check in secondary menu in left sidebar and click save menu. I'll just go back to our site and reload the tab there. And we'll go check out and see what it looks like on our site. Alright, there is our secondary menu in the left sidebar. One other thing I'll show you in the menus section. Now you can also add links. So right here you can add a link to say wherever you want, and then you can call it whatever you want. So say if I wanted to link to WordPress.org, and I can call it whatever I'd like. I'll just put WP there, and I'll click add to menu. And I'd like to have this link open up in a new tab so people don't get taken off my site. So what you'll need to do to have a link open up in a new tab is under screen options, click that arrow up on top screen, and you'll make sure that this link target box is checked, and it already is. I am going to save this menu, and I'll go back and reload the tab. And there is our custom link, and I'll just click on it. It'll take us to WordPress.org. Oops, it didn't work. Here, I know what I did. I forgot to do one step here. So let's go back to our menus section, and then click this arrow under the custom link section, and then put a check in this box, open link in new window or tab, and click save menu. And we'll reload the tab again, and this will take us to WordPress.org, and it'll open up in a new window or tab. Just like that. There we go. Okay, there's our menu. Alright, now let's add a little bit of different content to our left sidebar. We'll take out these default WordPress widgets and add some new ones. So let's go back to our WordPress dashboard and hover over appearance and then click on widgets. And I'm just going to drag these widgets off the primary sidebar, and that'll delete them. So I just left click and drag. And I'm going to leave the search one in there. Now I am going to drag a visual editor widget up here, put it right below the search widget, and I'm going to paste in some content, and I'm going to have it in the visual editor. I'll do that, and then I'm going to hit the line break, which is the option we had using the Ultimate Tiny MCE plugin that we use to add options to our visual editor. So I'm going to insert a line break, and I'll paste in some more info. Then I'll insert a line break again, and one more time, and we'll just call this widget Contact Us. And I'll click Save, and go check it out on our site. Okay, now we have a little bit of contact information here, and we still have our search widget. Now we are going to go back to our WordPress dashboard. We're going to install a new plugin for our next widget. Just do a search for Google Maps widget. I'm just going to install and activate this one. Okay, now we'll go back to Appearance Widgets. I'm going to close this one, and I'm going to reload the tab, and we should have a Google Maps widget. There it is right here. I'm going to drag it right up here below our Contact Us information, and we'll just leave it at New York, USA. And for our map size, I'm going to make it 190 by 190. That'll fit in our widget on the left sidebar. And you can adjust all these other settings. I'm just going to leave it as is, and I'm going to put some text below the map. Click to expand for text below the map, and I'm just going to click Save. Now go back to our site, and we'll reload the tab. Okay, now we have a map widget in our sidebar. You'd want to put your own business address in there, of course. I'm going to put in location/directions. I'll go ahead and save that. There we go. When they hover over this, of course, they can click to open up a larger map in a light box right here, and then they can get the driving directions to your business address if they click on directions and that sort of thing. So, okay, now let's add one more widget in our left sidebar. So let's go back to the widget area, and I'll close this one out, and we'll add our social icon widget, Easy Social Icon. We've already configured that plugin with our social account, so we'll just go ahead and add this right in here. Connect with us. For a title, I'll go ahead and click Save and reload our tab, and there's our social icons. Okay, now we've got our left sidebar with some content in there, our social icons and our map and our contact us information in our right sidebar. We've got our secondary menu and our top menu here. Okay, now let's add some content to these keyword pages that we made up earlier, and also place some links in the content and go over the linking structure that I talked about. Just to refresh your memory, here is the mind map that I made up, and here is our website's main keyword topic, Seattle heating and air conditioning. Then we made up some related keyword pages. So we have a furnaces Seattle page, heat pump Seattle page, and so on. And we also made a main blog category using these keywords too. So we have a Furnaces Seattle page. We also have a Furnaces Seattle blog category. And the same with the other pages right here. They're pages and blog categories. Then we added some child pages or sub pages to our Furnaces Seattle page. And the first page we made up was furnace maintenance, and inside the content of this page you would want to have a link using a related keyword as what's called the anchor text of the link, linking back up to the Furnaces Seattle page, which of course links to the home page. And if you added another new page, then you would link inside the content, you would link to the first page you made, which of course links back up here, and so on. The link juice, as it's called, would just flow this way and then back up to this page and then to the home page. And say you wanted to add a third level, say a related keyword to gas furnace or gas furnaces. This third level, gas furnace repair, that would be a blog post. And inside the content of the blog post would, of course, be a link linking to the gas furnace page, which links here, which links here, which goes up here, and then to here. So let's go to our WordPress dashboard, and first of all, we'll put some content and a link inside the furnace maintenance page. So here it is right here, and we want to have a link inside the content to the Furnaces Seattle page, and I've already just copied the URL up here to use as our URL of our link. So this Furnaces keyword will be linked to the Furnaces Seattle page. And to do that, I just highlighted this word right here, Furnaces, and then clicked on this little chain link right here. I'm in the visual editor, and then I pasted in the link to the Furnaces Seattle page right here. And of course, clicked on add or update or whatever it says. And now you have a what's called a contextual link in your content. So the next page is new furnace or new furnaces. And right here, new furnaces, in the content somewhere we would have a link to the furnace maintenance page. So right here would link to right here, which links right here. So right here I just used furnace maintenance as the keyword, the anchor text. And of course I just highlighted it and clicked on the link right here and then pasted in the URL for the furnace maintenance page. What about the all-in-one SEO pack? If you remember, we configured it to automatically add page titles, meta titles, and meta descriptions. So what it does is just use the page title, which is new furnaces, and then if there's something left over, it will add the meta title for the whole site, which is Seattle Heating and AC, Mike's Heating and AC. If you don't want it to say what it says right there automatically, you can add it manually. Say I'll just put great price on new furnaces in Seattle. And same with the description. You can add a description here manually. It will automatically take about the first 160 characters from your page or post and add it for the meta description. So you can add a description more to your liking if you so desire. Okay, so we have our contextual link linking back up to the furnace maintenance page, which of course has a link in it which links to the Furnaces Seattle page. So you just follow the same process with all of these. You'll link down this way, and then we'll go over making blog posts and categories and that sort of thing in a little bit. But first, let's go back to our new Furnaces page. All right, now let's add an image to our new Furnaces page, and we're also going to set what is called the featured image for the page. Now, I've already found a royalty-free image to use for this page, and I found it using a pretty cool plugin that I just bought developers' rights to called WP Image Suite. And you can do a search by keyword and find royalty-free images, and then you can edit them, resize them, crop them, add text overlays, all sorts of stuff right inside your WordPress dashboard. So it's a pretty cool plugin. If you want to check it out further, you can check out my free WordPress installation offer on my wphowtos.com site. Anyway, I uploaded that image to our media library, and we're going to go over editing the image inside the media library. Now I could just add the image using the Add Media button right here, but you can't crop the image inside a WordPress page, so you have to go to the media library. So we're going to go to our media library, which is right here under Media, and then click on Library. And here is our image that we're going to use. I'll just click on this link right here. And I've already put the title as a keyword for our page, New Furnace. I'm just going to copy that and add it for our caption, alternative text, and description like we talked about earlier. Now over on the right, you'll see right here it says the dimensions. I already resized it using the WP Image Suite plugin. And of course, if you don't have that plugin, you'll want to resize your images before you upload them to your site, if you can anyway. Underneath the image, there's an Edit Image button. Let's click on that. All right, now up on the top left, there's the little crop tool icon. Let's just click on that first of all. Then inside your image, just hold down your left mouse and then click and drag. Now you can also just do a specific size right here. You could type in the size that you wanted to crop it to if you'd like to, just like we did over at pixlr.com, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, I've got this image here about like this. I think I'll make it a little bit less high, reduce the height a little bit. And we'll crop it just about like that right there. So now I'm going to click on the crop tool again. Then I'm going to click on Save right below the image. Okay, now the dimensions have changed. Right over here you'll see 493 by 541. So that's a little better. I'm going to click on Update now. Now I'm going to go back to our new Furnaces page, and we have our cursor right where we want to insert the image. So I'm going to click on Add Media. And then I'm going to click on the image that we just cropped. And right here, here's our title, caption, and alt text and description that we've already added. And I'm not going to set the alignment for anything. You, of course, can align it left, center, or right if you'd like. And you can link it to a custom link. You could link it to another page. You can link it right to the image so that it'll pop up and show in a light box sort of effect. I'm just going to link it to nothing, so I'll click none. And I'm going to insert it full size, so I'm just going to insert into page. And there we go. There's our little caption right underneath with the keyword. And I'm going to click update. Now if you'd like to edit this image further, say resize it or something, you can click right inside the image and then just click on this edit image icon. And so you can just handily just reduce it to, in a percentage of size. You could reduce it to 70%. You could align it. You can put a link it to something. You can change the title and alternative text and caption, that sort of thing. And you can also go to advanced settings and make it a specific size if you'd like, and do all sorts of other things. We're just going to click cancel. And now we're going to set this image as also as our featured image of our page. So right over on the bottom right, you'll see featured image. I'm just going to click on the link set featured image. And we're going to use the same image again. I'll just click on that. And you'll want to change the title. You don't want two images with the same keyword as the title. So I'm just going to put furnace instead of new furnace. And I'm just going to click on set featured image. Now it'll show right over here in the bottom right. Now let's take a look at our page. I'm going to click view page in another tab, open link in a new tab. Okay, here's the featured image of our page, and there's the image that we added to our page content. Now you notice the featured image doesn't span the entire width of the content area, and also that the page content kind of indents into the featured image. And we're going to change both of those things by going back to our WordPress dashboard, and we're going to hover over appearance and click on customize. And the awesome 14 extended plugin takes care of both of these things for us. First, we're going to open up the 2014 general options by clicking the arrow. And we'll scroll down, and right here where it says make post featured images span 100% width, we'll put a check in that box right there. And now we'll click on the arrow by the 2014 content options, and we'll open that up. And right here where it says enter one or more for padding to move content off featured image, default is -48. By the -48, that's what makes it indent into the image. So I'm just going to put 10 in there. Now we're going to save and publish both of our changes. We'll go back to our page and reload the tab, and voila, there you go. The image, featured image, spans 100% width of the content, and also the content doesn't indent into the featured image. All right, now let's talk about our blog and organizing our blog posts using what are called categories and tags. And we'll also go over configuring our featured grid section of our 2014 theme using featured blog posts with featured images, and that'll display in the header of our site. Let's take a look at a blog page. Now your blog posts will generally display in reverse chronological order, which means that the newest blog post is going to display on top, and then your older ones will display in order. The older they get, the further down they are in your blog content. Now you can make a blog post stick to the top of your blog content by making it what is called being sticky post, a sticky post. Let's go to our WordPress dashboard real quick, and then under settings, the reading tab. And we've made our front page of our site a static web page by checking this button and of course selecting a page, and then we have a posts page for our blog posts, and we call it blog. You can display your blog posts on your home page by just checking this button here. Syndication feeds show the most recent. This is what is called your RSS feed, your syndication feeds. And here is an example of an RSS feed, which is the RSS feed for this demo site right here. And I displayed this RSS feed by simply typing in the URL of the site and then a / and then feed. A lot of times on WordPress sites, that's how you display your RSS feed. Some sites are different, but that's a pretty good rule of thumb. Now, RSS feeds are a good way to get backlinks to your site and promote your content. And here's the mind map, which I'm going to have quite a bit of information about using your RSS feeds and promoting your RSS feeds. Here's a couple softwares that I actually use quite a bit. You can check those out by clicking on those icons, of course. Now, if you remember how we're structuring our site content, we have these pages which all interlink to each other. And here's the third tier in our example, which is a blog post. And in the content of this blog post, it would link to this gas furnace page. So let's go back to our WordPress dashboard, and we'll click on posts, and we'll make up that example post first of all. So I'm just going to click on add new. You'll probably have the Hello World default blog post in your site. I've deleted that already. And for our blog post, we're just going to call this gas furnace repair. Then I'll paste in some content. Now inside the content of this blog post, of course, we're going to link to this gas furnace page. So we need the URL of that gas furnace page first of all. So here it is right here on our site. Of course, we don't have any content right now. I'm just going to copy that URL first of all. Then I'm going to go back to our blog post, and I'm just going to highlight some of this text and make it an anchor text going to our gas furnace page. So I'll call this gas furnace choices. Then I'll highlight that text, and I'll click on our little chain link up here, and I'll paste in the link for the gas furnace page, and I'll click add link. Now we have a contextual link going back to our gas furnace page. Now your blog posts of your site are organized in a couple different ways. First of all, there's categories, which you can get to the main category page by under posts. You can click on categories, and over on the right you'll have your categories that you have on your site right now displayed. If you wanted to add a new category, if there wasn't a category yet, you just click on this add new category, and you can have subcategories of a main parent category. And for this example post, we're going to link it to the category gas furnace. Now categories are meant for a broad grouping of your posts, so think of these as general topics or the table of contents of your site, and they're to help identify what your blog is really all about. So it helps your site visitors find similar blog posts in the same category or categories. Blog posts also can have what are called tags, and they're meant to describe specific details of your posts. And think of those as more of your site's index words. Now your blog posts have to be assigned to a specific category, at least one category. They can have multiple categories assigned to it. We could have furnace repair and gas furnace as the categories of this blog post. Now tags, they do not have to have tags, but we're going to add a couple. Tags are usually just one or two or maybe three words. Gas furnace, furnace repair, and maybe just Seattle. Now over here on the right at the top where it says publish, of course, if you want to publish your blog post immediately, you can by just clicking this publish button. You can also schedule your blog post to publish in the future by clicking this edit link and then selecting whatever day you'd like your blog post to be scheduled to post on. So you can make multiple blog posts on the same day and then have them drip feeded out in your blog, say on a daily or every other day or whatever choice you'd like to have. I'll just go ahead and click the publish button for now. Alright, now we're going to add some new blog posts to use in the featured grid section of our site. But before we add those posts, we need to make a couple changes. So hover over appearance and then click on customize. First, we need to click the arrow under 2014 general options, and we're going to uncheck that box which says remove the featured content section. Then I'm going to click on save and publish. And we're going to have to close this out and then reopen it again to do what the next options we have to change. So click on customize again. Alright, now you'll have an option that says featured content, and we're going to just click on that arrow to expand the options, and we'll make sure that we have a grid layout, and we want the tag name to say featured, and of course this has to say post. We're going to leave this box unchecked because we're only going to have multiples of 3 in our grid columns. And right here where it says, it probably will say 6, number of posts for grid, multiples of 3 or 4. we are going to just display 3 on top of our header. So I'm going to put 3 in there. Then I'm going to click Save and Publish. Then I'm going to hover over Posts and click on Add New. I'll just go ahead and put a title for our new blog post. Save on heat pumps. And we'll scroll down here over on the right. I'll assign a category. We'll put Heat Pump Seattle for the category. Then we'll make sure to type in the featured tag and click Add. Then down at the bottom right where it says featured image, we'll click on Set Featured Image. I've already got the image I want to use already uploaded to the computer. Of course, if you have to upload files, then you'll click on that. I'll just select that image, and it already has a keyword for the title. I'll just go ahead and copy that, and we'll paste it in here for our caption, alt text, and description. And of course, like I said before, you don't want to use the same keywords for multiple images on the same page anyway. So if you have more than one image on the page, don't use heat pumps for the alt text and title and that sort of thing for multiple images. I'll click Set Featured Image, and then I'll click Publish. And of course, if this was on a real site, you would want to have some content in the blog post, and probably since we have a coupon displaying as a featured image, you would probably want to have the actual coupon in your content somewhere. Let's go back to our home page and see what it looks like so far. Okay, we're going to displace this one right here, but here's the post that we just made using the featured image. I will go ahead and pause the video while I add a couple more new posts to use in our featured grid section here. Okay, I added a couple more blog posts to use for our featured section, and the process I went through, of course, is just put in a title, and then I chose a category, and then I added the featured tag, then I added a featured image, set featured image, and then of course I published. So let's take a look at our site. Okay, now we've got our WordPress site configured using the WordPress 2014 theme. And I'm just going to cover one more thing before we wrap this video up, and that is, what if down the road sometime you decide that you would like to switch WordPress themes? Well, there's a few points you probably should be aware of before you go to your WordPress dashboard and just simply install and activate a new theme. And on our mind map, I have a checklist right here for changing your WordPress theme. And the number one item on the checklist is backup. And that's something I think you should probably be doing on a regular basis anyway. What I use is the plugin called Backup Buddy. And I think it's the standard for WordPress backup plugins. It is not a free plugin though, but you can get it free when you take advantage of my free WordPress website setup offer that you can find on my wphowtos.com site. There are some free WordPress plugins that this one seems to have a decent reviews for it for backup WordPress. I've used Duplicator, and I think it's a really good plugin, especially to clone your site. Now, Backup Buddy, you can schedule backups also, so that's what I do. And a couple more things. If you have a child theme, save your child theme code just in case. And if you don't have a child theme, well, you're going to definitely have to take some notes and go over what changes you actually made to your CSS code. And another thing, be aware of your sidebars, which are your widget areas. Your sidebar widget areas are often different from theme to theme, so save your HTML code for your custom widgets. And here's a plugin I just found out about called Widget Settings Importer Exporter plugin. You can check that out if you are planning on switching your WordPress theme. All right, well, that is a wrap up on this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've got some value out of it. And if you have indeed found value in this video, I would sure appreciate a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my WordPress channel for future videos. And as always, keep smiling and keep on keeping on. Take care.